Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki Guruve Gaur Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namaha Pankajanaabhaya Namaha Pankajamaline Namaha Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangriye Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So, yesterday we didn't read Bhagavatam. We read Charitamrita. We're talking about the greed of the Lord. How Lord comes as Vishnu, develops a desire to become Nrsimhadev, develops two desires to become Lord Rama, develops more desires to become Krishna, and develops three desires to become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and develops unlimited desires to deliver all the fallen souls of this world by sharing the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So now, today we will read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 1. King Sudyumna becomes a woman. So, who is King Sudyumna? Who can tell briefly? Who is King Sudyumna? Can anyone tell? Those who have been reading. Anyone knows anything about King Sudyumna? Okay, maybe you missed those sessions. I'll just repeat for our purification. So, we are talking about sun god Vivaswan, his son Vivasvat Manu. Vivasvat Manu and Shraddha, his wife, did yagya. Shraddha wanted daughter, Vivasvat Manu wanted a son. He told the priest that you should do a yagya for the son. Shraddha told, no, please do for a daughter. And a daughter was born because the priests were told. And this led to lamentation of Vivasvat Manu, and he asked Vasishta, well, I told you to do the yagya for son, and how come a daughter is born? The daughter's name was Ila. So, and these are powerful brahmanas, including Vasishta. So, Vasishta then said, okay, I'll chant some mantras by the Supreme Lord's power. Ila became King Sudyumna. Ila became Sudyumna. Now King Sudyumna is going, we read in the last verse, at the bottom of Mount Meru, where Lord Shiva is present. There's a forest named Sukumar. Sudyumna entered the forest. So let's see further what happens next. Tasmin pravishta evasu Sudyumna paraviraha apashyat striyam atmanam ashvam cha vadavam nripa. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O King Parikshit, as soon as Sudyumna, who was expert in subduing enemies, entered the forest, he saw himself transformed into a female and his horse transformed into a mare. That's interesting. King Sudyumna, who was in a male body, transformed into a female body. And the horse transformed into a mare. So, in this forest, what's the name of the forest?
Sukumara.
Sukumara. Very nice. So basically the horse is the male and the mare is the female. So the male horse transformed into a female horse, mare, and the king also transformed into a female. So very interesting. Let's read further. How come and what, why, when, how this happened? Yes, text number 27. Ishan, Prabhu, please. I'm very
Okay,
happy that you're joining every day and also keeping the video on. Very good.
thank you, Prabhuji. Tata tat anugya sarve tatta tat anuga sarve atmalinga vipariyayam drishtva vimana shobhuvam vishamana vikshamana parashparam. When his followers also saw their identities transform and their Prabhuji, what is that word?
Their sex reversed.
Their sex reversed. They were all very morose and they just looked at one another.
So basically, the male became female. It's not mentioned if there are female followers as well, but it's safe to say that pretty much the entourage was the ministers, soldiers, etc., even the horses. So pretty much anyone who was there, their sex transformed, male transformed into a female body. So which also tells us that, when we talk about who am I, some people say I'm male, some people say I'm female. This is not our true identity. True identity means something which cannot be changed. The color of the skin, the height, the weight, the occupation, the country of citizenship, all these can be changed. Now here we see the sex is reversed. Male transformed to female, even the horse, even the humans. That's not the true identity. True identity is the soul, Jivara Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. That is unchangeable. There is no female soul or male soul or dog soul or cat soul or Indian soul or American soul is soul. That's eternal. That's the same spark of the Supreme part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, well, they were morose and naturally, right? If we happen to be in that situation, right, we'll be morose, right? Suddenly, like, okay, everything was fine, and suddenly entered in the forest, and what happened, right? So let's see what happened. It's interesting. Okay, who wants to read next verse 28? Yes, Vipul Prabhu, you want to read?
Sure, Guruji. Horizon devotees, Dandavat Pranam. All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Text 28. Sri Rajo Vacho Katham Evam Guno Desha Kenabha Bhagavan Krito Prashanam Enam Samachakshava Param Kutu Halam Hina. Translation by His Divine Grace is Bhakti Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Maharaj Parikesh said, O most powerful Brahman, why was this place so empowered and who made it so powerful? Kindly answer this question, for I am very eager to hear about this. Back to Hare Krishna.
So I'm sure we all have question, right? Thank you, Vipul Prabhu, for reading. That what was so special about this place? How did this happen? Who made it so powerful? So Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring to Shukdev Goswami on our behalf so that we can get to know what was going on with this place. And so he's very eager to hear about this. So I'm sure all of us are also very eager. So let's see what Shukdev Goswami responds. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, all devotees. Text 29. Shri Shuka Uvacha Ekada Girisham Drishtum Rishayastatra Suvartaha Disho Vitimir Abashaha Kurvantaham Samupagamam. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sukadev Goswami answered, great saintly persons who strictly observed the spiritual rules and regulations and whose own effulgence dissipated all the darkness of all directions, one came to see Lord Shiva in that forest. Back to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So which forest again? The forest Sukumar, the forest in discussion. Where is it? What's the location of this forest? Anyone knows?
Sukumar.
Yeah, that's the name of the forest. Is it in Tampa or Delhi or New York? Where is it? You have to go back to this verse, text number 26. We read today. At the bottom, in the north, at the bottom of Mount Meru, right? The Golden Mountain. So that's a location near Mount Meru, okay, which is the pivotal point of the whole universe. Text number 30. Sampada Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Tan Vilokyambika Devi Vivasa Vidita Brisam Partur Anka Samuthaya Nivim Asva Atha Paryathat. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. When the goddess Ambika saw the great saintly persons, she was very much ashamed because at that time she was naked. She immediately got up from the lap of her husband and tried to cover her breast. Hare Krishna Babuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So basically referring here to Mata Durga, the wife of Lord Shiva. This is the culture, right? We know what happens when someone does not do so. The classic example is Nalakuver and Manigriva. They were also bathing and Narada Muni came. Pretty much the same situation. Narada Muni also is, we will see probably if the names are mentioned or not, but he's a great saintly person observing the spiritual rules and regulations, whose effulgence dissipated all the darkness and of all the directions. So pretty much very well fits for Narada Muni and multiple other saints as well. So Mata Durga covered her body, but Nalkuver and Manigriv, being puffed up with false pride, being blinded by false pride, did not do so. And we know how they became trees. So important lesson there. So we should not expose our bodies, especially like these days. These days people don't want to wear proper clothes. In fact, one devotee was joking, the less the clothes, the more expensive it is, right? It should be opposite by layman's calculation. The more material is required to make a bigger cloth, but the smaller the cloth, the bigger, the more expensive it is. And they call it fashion. But it's just an exposure of body, and in next life, one will have to be born as a tree, Prabhupada says, because trees don't wear clothes. So let's see what happens further when these rishis came to the forest. Text 31. Raghu Prabhu, want to read?
Thank you. I can read, yeah. Hare Krishna devotees. Text 31. Rishyo Pityor Vikshya Prasangam Ram Ramamma Nayo Nivrita prayayus tasman Nara-Narayan Nasram Mam. Translation and purport by only translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Seeing Lord Shiva and Parvati engaged in sexual affairs, all the great saintly persons immediately desisted from going further and departed for the ashrama of Nara-Narayana. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, quite straightforward. Yeah, they pretty much carried on, right? Again, it is not exactly mentioned who were those saintly people, but they were very exalted devotees. So they had come to meet Lord Shiva, who is a great Mahajan. We know that, who is the great Vaishnava. And when Ajamil saw this kind of episode, his mind was totally agitated. So there's a great lesson which these devotees are sharing, that in this world, if we see such kind of episode, or even advertisement or something, unknowingly, unwantingly also, which is this case, right? It was unknowingly and unwantingly. They had not come to for that purpose, right? To watch that episode. It was unknowing and unwanting, but they somehow saw that, and then they carried on, right, to their ashrama of Nara-Naraya Rishi, which is basically the Badrika ashrama. So it's a great lesson that if unknowingly and unwantingly, if we see something, someone with less clothes, or someone with, doing inappropriate thing, or something, and any advertisement on the internet, or something which is not good for us to be seen, and we all understand what I'm referring to, which will agitate our mind and senses. So we should not ponder upon it. We should focus our mind back to Krishna. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa. The more we put dhyana on that Vishaya, the more the propensity, attachment, lust, anger, greed, etc. And then Buddhi Nasha Pranashyati. So the more it will get deeper and deeper into that trap. So the great sages are showing that move on. Especially in this country, or even in India, these things are happening out a lot. So the culture is degrading very fast. The clothes are shortening very fast, and the modernization, the so-called modernization, is happening very fast. So we have to be careful. It's not easy to practice devotion, especially in Kali Yuga. Padam padam vipadam. Ajamil's case was one, devotees give this example. Ajamil's case was like one outlier. It was not the normal norm in the city. But these days, anywhere and everywhere, it's very hard. So we have to be extra careful of what we see and how we deal with it. Okay, let's see the next verse, text 32. Yes, dear Prabhu, Renuka Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandatpranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Tad idham bhagavan aha priyaha priya kamayaya satanam ya pravasit etat savaya asohit bhavet iti. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereupon, thus, just to please his wife, Lord Shiva said, any male entering place shall immediately become a female. Sorry, Krishna Prabhuji. So here Lord Shiva is telling that any male, whoever enters, will become female. Please explain, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishnas. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So I think we read before that Mata Ambika Durga was disturbed when these male saints, sadhus, come there. So, which is very natural and a good sign of her cultured behavior. But nonetheless, she was disturbed. But we are not talking about ordinary boy and girl. We are talking about Lord Shiva. I mean, so these activities also we should not consider as ordinary activities, because they are not. Lord Shiva is His Grace Pran Govind Prabhu gave such a wonderful class about 3 ways of understanding Lord Shiva as a great devotee, as as Shiva Tattva, and as Vishnu Tattva, and an amalgamation of all 3. So that was the kind of the boon given to the place, or the benediction. Anyone who enters will become a female. Any male. So which we can understand that pretty much all the followers or the entourage of Sudyumna were pretty much males, because we read that all of their sex is reversed. If they would have been female, they would have stayed female, because males cannot enter. That was the point. So let's see what happens further. Text 33. Yes, Prabir Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 33. Tata udham banam tad bhai, purusha brajayanti hi, cha anuchara sammukta, vichachara banat banam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Since that time, no male had entered that forest. But now King Sudyumna, having been transformed into a female, began to walk with his associates from one forest to another. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 2:22, it is said, Vashamsi jinnani jata vihaya navani grinnati nara parani tatha sharirani vihaya jinnani anyani shamayati navani dehi. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. The body is just like a dress, and this is proved. Sudyumna and his associates were all male, which means that their souls were covered by male dress. But now they became female, which means that their dress was changed. The soul, however, remains the same. It is said that by modern medical treatment, a male can be transformed into a female and a female into a male. The body, however, has no connection with the soul. The body can be changed either in this life or the next. Therefore, one who has knowledge of the soul and how the soul migrates from one body to another does not pay attention to the body, which is nothing but a covering dress. Pandita Samadarshina, such a person sees the soul, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is a Samadarshi, a learned person. Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, actually we are learning about the how the, I mean, we have a vivid description here how a male person changed into female. And Prabhupada is explaining here that again our identity is we are this soul, and the body can be changed. And we saw that Lord Shiva's, just because of Lord Shiva's desire that anybody enter into that part of the forest will transformed into a female body. So it happened. And Prabhupada also saying that, and we saw that actually, we see that there are changes of the sexes, like from male to female or female to male, we see that. So again here the emphasis has been given on our identity. Prabhupada is reminding us that we are the soul, and this body is according to our past reaction or karma, and we have to think about this soul, how to nourish this soul, and that's our primary goal. Hare Krishna Prabhu, back to you. Please add or correct.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So nicely you mentioned all the points. So now this king is wandering around. All the females basically are wandering around from one forest to the other, because all of them have been transformed into a female body. So let's see what happens further. Okay, wants to read 34. Nandini Mataji, want to read?
I don't have the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam with me this minute. I can read after 10 minutes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Canto Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dana Pranam, all devotees. Text 34. Atatam ashrama bhyasi charanatim paramodatman stiri pavitram vikashya chakame Bhagavan Buddha. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sudhymna had been transformed into the best of beautiful women who excite sexual desire and was surrounded by other women. Upon seeing this beautiful woman loitering near his ashram, Buddha, the son of moon, immediately desired to enjoy her. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you. Please explain.
Hare Krishna. So we were wandering from one forest to the other, right? We just read that in the previous verse that we were. So probably they moved on to some other forest, from one forest to another. Because how come Buddha, the son of moon, be in the Sukumar forest and have a male body, right? So that's not possible. So that means they moved along to some other forest where Lord Shiva had not given that kind of special potency or so. But now Buddha is attracted towards Sudyumna, who's in a female body now. Okay. Let's see the next one. Aswati Mataji, want to read?
Hare Krishna Pranam everyone. Text 35. Sapitam chakame subruhu somaraja sutam patim satasyam janayam asa pururavasam atmajam.
Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The beautiful woman also desired to accept Budha, the son of the king of the moon, as her husband. Thus, Budha begot in her womb a son named Pururava. Back to you.
I can read, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Saraswati Mataji. It's a very interesting situation here. And Maya is so powerful that, I just got reminded of the story of how Indra becomes a pig and then Narad Muni comes and says, "Oh, why don't you get back to your kingdom?" He said, No, I'm happy enjoying here. Just moments back, we read that they were lamenting about this whole change of their, from male to female, and then now they are having the desire to get a son, the desire to accept Buddha as well. So this is the power of opposite sex. So one has to be very careful. Therefore, that's what the Shastras say, and again, this this butter and fire analogy is given. Whenever the butter comes in contact with fire, it's not a question of will it melt or not. It's a question of how soon. So even great souls are always careful in their dealings with opposite sex, which applies to everyone. For male, it's female, it's... So one should not be thinking, oh, I'm a Hare Krishna devotee for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 50 years, whatever. So I can now... so I've overcome all these propensities. So that's just an invitation to the trap. So in short, one should be very careful in dealing with the opposite sex. Yes, Mataji, please. You want to read, Mataji?
Yes, so then that's pranam everybody. Evam sritva manupraptaha Sudyumno manavo nrupaha tasmara sakulacharyam Vasishtam iti shushrumam. I heard from reliable sources that King Sudyumna, the son of Manu, having thus achieved femininity, remembered his familial spiritual master, Vasishta. So it's very interesting how Sukadev Goswami is saying here, I heard from reliable sources. I believe that's who is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, that King Sudyumna, he achieved femininity, and so this is quite a radical transformation, and he is remembering his spiritual master, Vasishta. So remembrance of spiritual master will probably give him the best guidance. And also we just read about sun and moon dynasties being amalgamated, as Prabhupada writes in the summary. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay. So let's read the next one. 37th, who hasn't read, who wants to read today?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to everyone, text 37. So tasya tam dasha drushva krupaya rusha piditaha Sudyumna shayana pumstam upadhauta shankaram. Translation by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Upon seeing Sudyumna's deplorable condition, Vasishta was very much aggrieved, desiring for Sudyumna to regain his maleness. Vasishta again began to worship Lord Sankara, Shiva. So here Prabhupada is telling that Vasishta Rishi again, who is the Rishi for this Sun dynasty, who saw again the Sudhymna became a female, and again he is praying Lord Shiva for his regaining back to his male version. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Generally, I'm not talking about the pure devotees, but the demigods or others, they generally approach their guru when there's a time of crisis or when they need help. And that's applicable for majority of the practicing devotees as well, who are sadhakas. Pure devotees, they don't, they're always Krishna conscious. They're always happy, always blissful, Satchidananda, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. But here, when Sudyumna was in a difficult situation, he had been transformed, then he remembered. First, he was busy in the forest thinking, oh, I'll enjoy Mount Sumeru, Sukumara, family, horses, entourage, strength, beauty he had, right? We discussed he was very beautiful. And son of Manu, so very, very powerful position. But when he became a woman, then he's remembering Guru. So there are always some do's and don'ts to learn. But the Guru is also very powerful, so he starts to worship Lord Shiva. So let's see what happens next. Okay, who will like to read? Who has not yet read today? Swati Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Text 38. Tushtastasmai sa Bhagavan Rishi Priyam Avahan Swam Chavacham Ratam Kurvan Idam Aha Vishampate Masam Pumam Sabhavita Masam Stritava Putrajaha Itam Yavastaya Kamam Sudyumno Vatu Medinim. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. O King Parikshit, Lord Shiva was pleased with Vasishta. Therefore, to satisfy him and to keep his own words to Parvati, Lord Shiva said to that saintly person, your disciple Sudhymna may remain a male for 1 month and a female for the next. In this way, he may rule the world as he likes. Purport. The word Gotraja is significant in this connection. Brahmanas generally act as spiritual masters of 2 dynasties. One is their disciplic succession, and the other is the dynasty born of their semen. Both descendants belong to the same Gotra or dynasty. In the Vedic system, we sometimes find that both Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and even Vaishyas come in the disciplic succession of the same Rishi. Because the Gotra and dynasty are one, there is no difference between the disciples and the family born of the semen. The same system still prevails in Indian society, especially in regard to marriage, for which the Gotra is calculated. Here the word Gotraja refers to those born in the same dynasty, whether they be disciples or members of the family. So in this text, we see that Vasishta was praying to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva grants the wish of his wish of Vasishta and says that his disciples at the Sudhymna can be a male for 1 month and female again and rule the world. And here in the purport again, Srila Prabhupada is explaining about the importance of Gotra and how even today people see Gotra for marriages. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. It's quite straightforward that she explained these points. Look at the situation here. First Ila to Sudyumna to back to the female, and now half and half. Very interesting situation. So let's see what happens further. Kirti Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, text 40. Acharyanugrahat kamam labdva pumsatva vyavasthaya palaya samasa jagatim nabhya nandan stamat prajam. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thus being favored by the spiritual master, according to Lord Shiva, Sudyumna regained his desired maleness even for 1 month and in this way ruled the kingdom. Although the citizens were not satisfied with this purport, the citizen would understand that the king was transformed into female every alternate month and therefore could not discharge his royal duty. Consequently, they were not very satisfied. Okay, Prabhu, back to you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So yeah, so pretty straightforward here that when he was in the female body for the alternate month, how would he discharge the duties as a Kshatriya king? This, that's the position occupied by the male members, not because of any male dominance. That's how the system is, the Vedic system is. So let's see what happens further. The citizens were not happy with this whole thing because their king could not discharge their duties for a month, in every alternate month. Maybe we'll read one more verse. Who has not read today wants to read? Anjalali Priya, you want to read? Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Tasya Utkalo Gayo Rajan
Vimalascha Trayam Sutam Dakshinapatharajano Babhuvurdha Vatsalaham. Translation. O king, Sudyumna had three very pious sons, named Utkala, Gaya, and Vimala, who became the kings of the Dakshina Patha. Hare Krishna Prabhupada. Back to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Vijay. So 3 sons are mentioned here who were ruling the southern part of the world. These are the names: Gaya, Utkala. Anyone else wants to read? Hasn't got a chance today to read this interesting chapter.
Read again, Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu, sure. Please.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 42. That's text 41, sorry. Tasya Utkala, no, sorry, text 42. Tatha Parinate Kale, Pratisthana Pati Prabhu, Pururava Usrijya, Gamputraya Gata Banam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, when the time was right, when Sudyumna, the king of the world, was sufficiently old, he delivered the entire kingdom to his son Pururava and entered the forest. Purport: according to the Vedic system, one within the institution of Varna and Ashrama must leave his family life after he reaches 50 years of age. Panchashad Urdham Vanam Brajet. Thus Sudyumna followed the prescribed regulations of Varnasrama by leaving the kingdom and going to the forest to complete his spiritual life. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, first chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled King Sudyumna Becomes a Woman. So Hare Krishna, so here actually we saw that in Bhagavatam, we saw that in Dhruva Maharaj case, we saw that in Prahlad Maharaj case, that when they become old, they left their kingdom to their son. And then they went to, even we saw that in Bharat Maharaj also. So here also we see that the same example. So only just to recap that Pururava actually is from the Buddha and the, but first 3 sons we don't know where, I mean, who was the, but Bhagavatam didn't explain about that, but Pururava we found out that he was, Buddha begot the child in Sudyumna's womb. So, Prabhu Hare Krishna, back to you, Miss Advocate.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Actually, Pururava was the elder son, because everyone knows, we read about Pururava. Who were the parents of Pururava? Who knows the answer?
Budha and Ila.
Budha and Ila. Okay. Shall we name Ila or Sudhymna in the female body? But I think we got the point that that was before he was given the boon of 1 month male, 1 month female. That was when he was wandering, or she was wandering in the forest, from Sukumar forest to the other forest, and son of moon, Buddha, and that female, gave birth to Pururava. It's a very interesting chapter. Point to note that we are not the body. This is a dress Prabhupada is mentioning. Point to note is be careful about the opposite sex. Also to learn from the sages that when they saw Lord Shiva and Mata Parvati, they continued. They were not agitated. So multiple lessons are there from every chapter. So these days, scientists may say we have a lot of advanced technology and this and that, and medical science and this and that. But do they have this science that 1 month one can be male, 1 month one can be female? Or 1 year one can be male, 1 year one can be female? I don't think so. Maybe some of your doctors can tell me if I'm wrong. Right? Lord Shiva is very powerful. So, but again, the body is a dress. Dress will change. You have to become Samadharshi, as Prabhupada said. Whether one is in a female body or is in a male body. Both can be dangerous and both can be wonderful. Depends on how we utilize that tool of body, of human form of life to make spiritual progress. In the age of Kali, no one is discouraged or no one is less in practicing bhakti. Everyone, irrespective of their age, irrespective of their male or female, irrespective of their occupation, wealth, or other factors, one can become a pure devotee. There are examples of male pure devotees, there are examples of female pure devotees. In the female body, I mean, of course, they are beyond the bodily platform, but we see that in our society also, we see so many exemplary female pure devotees, and we see so many exemplary male pure devotees. Of course, this is not even right to say male pure devotee, because pure devotee is actually beyond the bodily level, but just to give us inspiration or give myself inspiration that pure devotion is beyond all these factors. So very interesting chapter. We should understand with the proper spirit. So any other comments before we pause? Okay, so we'll pause here and continue tomorrow with the next verse. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purāni ki jai, Śrīla ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.